Many years back, there was a stormy night in Philadelphia. The weather was supposed to get worse as per the weather reports. An elderly couple comes looking for a room in a motel in Philadelphia, and the boy sitting on the reception table says that I have no room, sir, today. And you will not find any room today in any of the hotels of Philadelphia because I checked in the afternoon. There is no room available because of two big doctors' conference. But I can't let you go in this stormy weather. There are trees and there are electric poles on the street, and you might meet an accident and there's something can happen. So I would request you to kindly take my room and spend the night there. The elderly gentleman asked the boy, where would you sleep, son? He says, look, I am young and I am single. I can sleep in the reception. And he says there's a bench in the reception which is very uncomfortable. He says, no, I can't let you sleep in this uncomfortable. We'll go and find something. The boy insists, no, sir, I can't let you go because if something happens to you, I won't be able to forgive myself and I'll be worried about your safety. So please, I insist, take my room. Seeing his insistence and seeing there was no alternative, the elderly couple decides to spend the night in this boy's room. In the night, when the elderly gentleman gets up, he goes and sees the boy is sleeping on the bench in a very uncomfortable situation. He feels sorry, but there was nothing he could do. Next day morning, before leaving, the gentleman gives him a handsome tip. But the boy refuses to take the tip. He says, look, I can't accept this tip because it is illegal, because I can't rent my room. I can't also accept because it's unethical. Because I, being the head of the motel right now, as my manager is on leave, I can't accept a tip also. And I didn't give you the room because I was looking forward to rent the room. I gave you the room because I was concerned about your safety and I was concerned about your well-being. The elderly gentleman gets very impressed. He says, what kind of person you are? I thought God has stopped making people like you. And where are you coming from? Yeah? And what are you doing here in this motel? You should have become the manager of a big hotel because that is the kind of attitude you have. The boy feels very pleased with these compliments. He smiles and he said, look, you don't know my background. I have no formal training. I don't have any training of hotel management. I don't even have a training of a college. My only ambition in life is to become the manager of this motel someday, and that's about all. The elderly gentleman says, no, son, you don't know your value. Okay, let me ask you a question. If ever I built a big hotel and asked you to come and join me, would you join me? The boy thinks the old man has got carried away. If he had so much money to build a big hotel, he would have not come and stayed in his small motel. He would have gone to a bigger hotel. Just to end the conversation, he says, yes, if you ever build and invite me to come and join you, I'll do that. The elderly gentleman asks, promise? He says, yeah, promise. The elderly gentleman leaves. The boy had forgotten the incident and 3 years passes. Now after 3 years, the boy has now become the manager of the hotel and he receives a letter of invitation to come to New York City with a return air ticket and with an assurance that he will be picked up. The arrangement for his stay is being made. Everything for his comfort has been arranged for. He sees that the tickets are genuine, but why is he going? Who has invited? Nothing was clear. He takes a flight and goes to New York. When he lands in New York and goes to the pickup point, he is very surprised to see that the gentleman who has come to pick him up with his name card is wearing the dress of a chauffeur. Now in US, even if you have a very rich, you can have a very expensive car, but to hire a chauffeur, you have to be super rich. So he thinks, yeah, my host is going to be very super rich. The chauffeur offers to carry his luggage and he asks him to follow. Please follow me. When he goes out, he finds that it's a 6-door limousine car where his luggage is being put. The chauffeur opens the door for him and said, please have a seat. He asked, are we going in this car? He said, yes, of course. And chauffeur switches on the AC, the music, and there is a tray which comes out which has all the drink, and he said, please have a drink. Now in 80 years back when the story was happening, this was unheard of. These are luxuries for super rich. He pinches himself just to ensure whether he's dreaming or it's actually happening for sure. Now he sees that, yeah, it's happening. Now as they are going, he's enjoying the ride, and suddenly he sees out of the window of the car a very big structure, very well lit. And he says, yeah, I've seen this structure somewhere. Where I've seen? And then he remembers, yeah, he's seen this picture in the magazines, hospitality magazine which comes in his motel, and some of the newspapers. It's the best and the biggest hotel under construction in New York. And he asked the chauffeur, is it that best and the biggest hotel which is coming up in New York? Is it that? He said, yeah, of course, that is that. It is now completed. And we are going for its inaugural function in the evening. We are going actually there. And you have come only for that. He said, really? I didn't know that. Nobody said. The letter didn't carry this information. And my God, I am going to be witnessing this inaugural function of the world's one of the finest hotel. Oh my God, my life is really made. I know my boss is still in Philadelphia. He's not invited. I'm invited. Oh my God. When he reaches there and he gets down from the car, he sees an elderly gentleman, very well dressed in a most expensive suit, is there to welcome him. Welcome, son. I feel you had no problem in the flight. He said, no, sir. You had given me a business class ticket. I was such a comfortable first time in flight, and that too business class. My God. He said, you remember me? He said, no, sir. Your face looks familiar, but how could you forget? We met 3 years back when you gave me that room and that stormy night. He said, yeah, sir. Now I remember. Okay, son. Come on in. He takes him inside and sees, oh my God, the lobby was like a lobby of a palace or a museum. It had a huge chandelier, most expensive carpet, and the walls were decorated with most expensive paintings of Rembrandt, Renoir, Van Gogh. There was marble statue made by Rodini. There was hardware on the doors plated with gold, and so on. And he says, my God, people make hotel like this, I can't imagine. And while they are going and seeing one artifact and the other, suddenly he finds himself in front of a door where it is written manager. And the elderly gentleman opens the door and said, come on in. He goes inside, he says, huge room, almost bigger than the entire floor of the motel where he was working. And he sees there's a huge table at the corner, Burma teak, on top was onyx, on one side there was a library, on the other side there was a secretarial table, there was a small bar, there was a conference room, and attached was a big bedroom. Attached with that was a bathroom with jacuzzi. He is inspecting and seeing and admiring all the things of the room, and suddenly his eyes goes and sees there's a nameplate sitting on the top of the table, and that nameplate had his name. And he gets a shock of his life. He's about to faint, and the moment he recover from his shock, the first thing he tells the elderly gentleman, are you crazy? I have not seen a crazier man than you. What are you doing? You are appointing me as the manager of this hotel. Your hotel will close in 7 days. Do you know that I have got no formal training of hospitality industry, of hotel management? I have not even gone to a college. What are you doing? I am not going to be part of this madness. The elderly gentleman says, look, you promised me when I asked that if I ever make a hotel and ask you to come and join, you will come and join. Yes, I said that. First, I thought it was some kind of a joke. Second, even if you asked me, I can work for you, but not as a manager. How could I manage this kind of a property? He said, look, son, that day when you gave me your room, facing all that trouble in the night, without expecting anything in return, I realized God has been very kind, and He has made me meet the finest hotel management manager in the world. Now what should I do as an investment banker? If I've got the best hotel manager, I have to build a best hotel, which I did for you. Now, as far as your experience is concerned, and you have no experience or formal training, I'm going to give you the best management team, the best food and beverage manager, the best housekeeper, the best facility manager, the best marketing manager, and so on. But you will lead them. You will create an ecosystem of that attitude to contribute. Yeah, that only you can do, because not many people have that kind of attitude. And thereafter, you will lead the whole thing. So that day, Mr. Boldt was this boy, joined Sir Waldorf Astor, who built the first Waldorf Astoria hotel in New York. And together they built 27 Waldorf Astoria hotels in the next 27 years, as long as Mr. Boldt lived in the capital of various countries. As long as Mr. Boldt lived, he was the most respected hospitality professional in the world. He was highest paid hospitality professional in the world, and he is considered to be an iconic figure in the hospitality industry. He had no formal training of hotel management and hospitality industry, yet he was such a successful professional. Now, if you don't have this attitude to contribute, you may have great knowledge and great degrees and great training and great experience, but it will be difficult for you to reach the top. But if you have this attitude, and even if you don't have very high qualifications or degrees or experience, you may still reach. If you pick up the CEOs or the chairmen of the top companies in the world, you will find they are there not because of their high qualification and degrees and experience, they are there because of their attitude to contribute. So without attitude to contribute, it's very difficult to reach that position, and with attitude to contribute, you can reach even if you have not competitive educational background or degrees.